of which Mrs. Clay and Mr. Marcellus Hopper were the founders. The museum, for those of you who don't know or have not been there, is housed in one of the very first schools for African Americans in Clark County. The school was opened in 1882, two-room school housing 6th grades. In 1882, 6th grades, of course, was the only education that African Americans could receive in this county. After 6th grade, that was it. 2 years ago, when I was president at the Josephine School Museum, we were approached by, and I have to read this because it's a nice long title. We were approached by Dr. Michael Blakey, and if you don't know Dr. Blakey, Google. You're going to find out some great things about this man. William and Mary, very, very proud to have him on the staff. We were approached by Dr. Blakey and by then-to-be Dr. Autumn Barrett to participate in something called Community Conversations. It was sponsored by the Remembering Slavery, Resistance, and Freedom Project, sponsored by William and under the heading of William and Mary and the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Commission of the Virginia General Assembly and the Virginia Foundation of Humanities. Dr. Blakey and Dr. Barrett and assistants were moving through Virginia, going to various African American settlements to discuss history. Dr. Barrett, after coming to Josephine City, was so impressed. This was an independent, and I repeat that word, independent African American community that was established in 1880, shortly after slavery. This was a very, very cohesive community. They worked together very closely. And this is what I hope you'll see today and hear today, some of the work that was done by the original members who lived in this community. Not only did they have a school for their African American students, there were churches, there were stores, there was restaurants, there were individuals who were responsible for providing the lights on the street. Gas lights, not electric lights. There were groups who took the trash from the street. There were people there was one person, and I hope it will stop raining so we can tour these houses or these places. There was one person, Mr. Chris Laws, who was responsible for, he had a horse. He plowed everybody's garden. So this is the kind of cohesiveness that occurred in this community. It was a city unto itself. The only thing it needed from Berryville was mail delivery. Everything else was done by its citizens. Autumn was so impressed. And she said, we have to come back. We have to plan. At that time, 2 years ago, it was going to be a Juneteenth. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Juneteenth celebrations. We celebrate the end of slavery. We know the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and went into effect in January 1st, 1861. I think. 1863, thank you, Dr. Blakey, thank you. Well, that information didn't get to all of the states for a long period of time. And when it did get to the last state, it was celebrated with a celebration called Juneteenth. It happened on June 19th. So that's this week also. But let me have Autumn talk to you now about the overview. Everybody should have a program so you see what we're supposed to be doing in the event that I hope the rain stops. It has stopped. Okay, very good, very good. The rain has stopped. Here's Dr. Barrett. She is a member of the Anthropology Department of William and Mary. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. It has been a pleasure and an honor to work with Ms. Davis and Ms. Liggins. And we are very excited today to begin this program. And you have on your program the list of sites that we will proceed toward in just a moment. And each site has a history and a story that will be told. And then we will have at 1:45, Ms. Liggins has arranged for food and refreshments before moving toward the next community conversation on African American legacies of resistance that is embodied and memorialized through Josephine City's history. And after that, we will move to the adjacent cemetery site, the Milton Valley Cemetery, to take part in what Ms. Davis and I were talking about what type of commemoration could involve the cemetery site that has been such an important part of Josephine's history. And we were talking about laying flowers down, and just as we were talking about it, Ms. Davis came across an archival record from a 1900s newspapers that was an advertisement for an annual cemetery walk and flower strewing in June. So we will follow that tradition today by hopefully being able to lay flowers on the marked and unmarked graves of Milton Valley Cemetery. So thank you for being here today, and I'll turn this back over to Ms. Liggins.
Does everyone have your walking shoes on? We think we'll stop at this time and take a walk, and hopefully we can walk from the beginning to the end before the rain gets back. The rain's on its way, but he's holding up for us, so we better take advantage of it. And we'll talk as we walk along the street. If everybody wants to go out that door, this door, we're going to meet in front of, we got a sign right here on the left side of the chapel to unveil.